And so when you look at all those totals, you're leaving points on the board. You're giving 22 points up in transition. You're giving live ball turnovers, which is turning into 20 points off the fast break. You're missing layups. Your guys are in foul trouble. It's just a recipe for disaster. NC State has just opened up the Maui Invitational with a double-digit loss to Seton Hall. And there's a plethora of things we could get into as to what went wrong for NC State tonight. But the main thing we're going to focus on, turnovers and fouls. These are two things that destroy any team for a multitude of reasons, specifically as it plays to NC State. And with NC State's identity, they need to live in that positive momentum. Playing undersized momentum can make it feel like you might have 6 or 7 guys on the court. And with the different defensive styles that Wade wants to play, it's imperative to create this tension, create this environment. And it's so difficult to maintain or create that when you're constantly turning the ball over, when those turnovers are live ball turnovers, and when you're fouling. The live turnovers turn into dunks, the fouls stop the game, and it's harder to create that flow back and forth defensively and offensively. And when we've seen NC State at its best this year, it's been through momentum, it's been through defense being the fueler for the offense. And tonight, or today, they were unable to do that. Even when they cut it, they went on a run at the end of the game to cut it to 9. But then they come next possession down and foul for a foul from McNeil on the full court press with 6 minutes left. And that basically kind of just killed the game at that point. Seton Hall, 20 points basically off 11 turnovers. Again, the live ball turnovers is way too difficult. Like NC State was giving way too many of those up, and they gave up more than 20 fast break points. Now you had these other things to think about too. D. Will got into foul trouble. He picked up his 4th foul with 12 minutes to go in the second half. And for a player like him, who's a physically aggressive guy, he wants to back down. He wants to live in the paint. He wants to play that style of defense aggressively too, try to swipe away, get steals and things like that. When you pick up that 4th foul and now you have to play 12 minutes, which he set after picking up the 4th, but you're going into the end of the game now saying, I can't play the game like I want to. And he still made some good shots, made a 3 from the wing to help him part of that time to cut the lead down to 9. But when you take that aggressiveness out of his game, which you can't because you don't want to pick up an offensive foul like that and be sent out of the game, it's really difficult for a guy like that to keep going. And he was under his average point totals by, I think, 10 points tonight. Kadir was under his point totals. And then the big thing, too, for NC State was the amount of missed layups that happened in the first half. They were down 2 at halftime. They missed, at least to my count, 6 layups, as I would contest as 6 easy made layups for college basketball players. That's 12 points. At one point, they had missed 6 free throws out of the 17 they shot. And so when you look at all those totals, you're leaving points on the board. You're giving 22 points up in transition. You're giving live ball turnovers, which is turning into 20 points off the fast break. You're missing layups. Your guys are in foul trouble. It's just a recipe for disaster. Now, if I'm a State fan, I almost don't hate that game was so wacky, in the sense of that if we had played our best game and we couldn't beat Seton Hall, that's one thing to worry about. Every team has their night. Every team has their day. Every team has a rough go at it. And with NC State, to not make excuses for it, there were things that definitely were hindering them, first of all. Trey Holloman, I don't think is settled in fully into being at NC State yet. He spent 3 years at Michigan State, a very specific program under Tom Izzo. It's a big change for a guy like that to go into NC State. Not saying that there's anything wrong with what State's doing. I actually love the program and the culture that Wade is building. It's just different. And I think for a guy like that, specifically at the point guard position, you have to settle into that. He's been ejected from a game, which I don't think he should have been ejected, but he's been ejected from a game. He dealt with the flu apparently today, did not travel with the team, traveled with Boo Corrigan on a different plane to Maui. So again, you're throwing off the whole rhythm. And North Carolina to Maui is a long trip. I'm not shocked that it turned out this way given all of the circumstances. But again, if you're a State fan, there's definitely things you want to see fixed. But it's good to get this game now. You get it early, you figure it out, and it's a sense of like, we didn't do anything we really wanted to do, and we got our butt kicked, and that's why. If NC State had been playing the way they had been playing all year, and D. Will had 25, and Kadir had 15, and Trey had 12, and McNeil hit 7 threes off the bench, and they still lost to Seton Hall, I would probably be more concerned if I was a State fan. But in this situation, I'm not that concerned. Now, question for you guys as State fans. One positive that we definitely got from tonight, which we've seen, Matt Abel can be one of the top freshmen in the ACC. He's 3-level scoring off the ball and on the ball. And in the first half, he had the most fight and energy out of anybody coming off the bench. 10 of the 33 points scored for NC State off the bench in the first half. And I imagine by the time we get to March and even sooner, he will be in the starting lineup. And there's a difference between Kadir and Trey at the point guard position. And I think a part of Kadir having to go play that is because Trey has not really found his flow and rhythm yet. But I think Abel is somebody that should be inserted in that starting lineup, specifically going Trey at the 1, Abel at the 2, Copeland at the 3, Dewell at the 4, Lubin at the 5. Now, it's not a big group, but I don't think NC State is going to, the bigs that they have off the bench, I don't think are guys that are going to be starting or guys that are going to play 30 plus minutes a night for them. So this is the team they have. Wade understands that, and he's trying to create a defensive scheme and an offensive scheme that fits being a bit undersized. And the reason why I would put McNeil on the bench is because he has that spark to come off the bench with his 3-point shooting. Going into the game today, he's taken 41 shots and 32 of those have been 3-pointers. So to me, in a way, you know exactly what McNeil wants to do. He wants to come and he wants to shoot. So if his shot is not falling like we've seen in 2 games now, it becomes a different dynamic for him on the court, where Abel is someone that is going to find his shot. He's going to find other teammates. He's going to be aggressive at the 3-point line, in the mid-range, and at the rim. So I think that's where more consistently, and he's still a freshman, he's going to have to come along, and maybe that's why Wade's doing it. And maybe he has said something about it. I haven't seen any interviews or anything specifically talking about this. But putting Abel into the starting lineup with that group, I think that's the best group NC State could put out with the guys coming off the bench like Breed, like McNeil. You still have that spark. You still have that fight. You still got your bigs coming off the bench. We'll see what happens. To me, it's similar to what Arizona does with Del Orso. Del Orso is one of the best scorers in the country. His ability to come off the bench is going to, I think, give Arizona the best shot later on in the year. And they've had really good wins. So they've clearly been winning with the system that they have in place. But you're seeing a more experienced guy that's a really good shooter that can really score the basketball coming off the bench and adding that spark in replacement of a couple big time freshmen like Burries and putting Burries and Bradley together for Arizona. And so I think NC State should probably implement the same thing. But I want to hear your guys' comments. Let me know in the comment box. Who do you think should be starting? Is this a really big deal for NC State? Is this a sign of things to come? Or was it just clearly not their day? One of those rough ones, turn around. You got another game tomorrow and time to figure it out. Remember, like the video, share it, subscribe, enter your name in the portal, and we'll see you guys on the next one.